Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I am talking about Frieda Mcfadden books, what I rate them, do I recommend, and what they were about. And there are going to be some spoilers, so just be wary of that. So if you don't want to know any spoilers, you probably shouldn't listen, but if you've read pretty much all of her books, then you're probably fine. So let's start with the books that I've read. I've read Ward D, The Housemaid, Do Not Disturb, The Devil Wears Scrubs, Dear Debbie, The Surrogate Mother, The Tenant, The Teacher, The Boyfriend, and Dead Med. So I've had a total of 10 reads. I actually just finished making this video, but then I realized I forgot a book, and then the background noise was terrible. So we're remaking it. Let's start with the first one I read, Ward D. This was about a med student who was kind of like, it was kind of like an unpaid intern. It was more for getting job experience, and like, even though I don't think she was directly going into that field, that's where they were putting her. So for the night, she had to stay there for, I guess it was like 12-ish hours, I would assume. And it was just her, another guy that went to her school that was actually her ex-boyfriend, and the head doctor who was there that night. Well, spoiler alert, the head doctor that was there that night was killed and murdered. She didn't know that until the very end, pretty much. And her best friend was at the psych ward. Well, her used to be best friend. He was at the psych ward. And the best friend's boyfriend was the crazy dude who they had locked up, like, chained up everything. She let him out. They killed everyone. They took over, and they were gonna blow the place up on fire or something like that. And they were just glad. They were supposed to do it the night before, but they were glad that the main character, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. They found out she was coming in the next day, so they're like, oh, let's postpone what we were going to do and do it the next day so that I can have my ex-best friend. I don't know if they were really ex-best friends, but they, like, had something going on between them. So, yeah. And at the end, I think the main character... Oh, and the whole time in this book, I just want to say, I actually thought the main character was just going nuts because she did have some weird voices in her head, and even her best friend knew these things. So when she would be like, hey, there's blood on the floor, people would be like, no, that's not blood, that's just grape jelly or raspberry jelly. And she was like, I'm pretty sure that was blood. I know what blood looks like. I'm a med student. But in my head, I was like, this girl just going nuts. She's losing her stuff. But I was wrong. I will give a quick mention to The Housemaid. This one I read last year, and it was quite some time ago. We've already discussed this one, so I'm not going to discuss this one as thoroughly as these. I'm pretty sure I rated this one a 4 or a 4.5. This was a good read. I want to say I did expect the ending. It wasn't like super, how I didn't expect that, but it was pretty good. So I would recommend this one. My next read was Do Not Disturb, and this was about a girl that kills her husband in self-defense because he was abusing her, and she runs so she doesn't get, go to jail. Come to find out, I was actually shocked in this one. What I've learned about thrillers is don't trust anybody, not the main character and not any side character. It don't matter. Even if the person had 2 seconds in the book, don't trust them. That's the number one rule with thrillers, okay? And then if you keep that rule, you probably will never be surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes, but usually not. So in this entire book, her sister was just sitting there explaining, oh, my sister, and if you think about it, there was some red flags, because why are you sitting here the first chapter of the book just explaining how much your sister's done for you, how much she loves you, etc., etc., because if you think about it, what was the need to say all that? Like, you're trying too hard, but I didn't catch on to that. Come to find out, the sister didn't even like this little girl. She said, oh, she ruined my life, it's your fault our parents died, and you made me leave college, and etc., etc. So she's going after her, trying to get her to pretty much go to jail because her own husband that she killed was her sister's affair with her sister's husband, while she was also married. But she was also unhappy with her person, and the bigger sister was like, I don't know why she doesn't like her husband. Her husband is so cool, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, girl. That I rated a 4-star, and I'm not sure if I told you what I rated War D, but that one was also a 4-star. The next book I read was The Devil Wears Scrubs. Now, this entire read, I thought it was a thriller. It wasn't. I was like almost all the way through, and I'm like, there's no way this book is gonna have like some thriller ending. Like, I don't think this is gonna be a thriller. So I looked it up, and it wasn't. So I was like, oh, well, I'm already invested. Might as well finish. It's pretty much just about an intern, and she's becoming a doctor, and she hates the lady that her supervisor, pretty much, that is, taking care of her, because let's just say she's just not a very nice lady. Well, what was crazy to me was at the end of the book, I guess it's just the cycle that all these med interns turn into. She ended up getting a med turn within a couple of years of her, like, being done with her medical term internship. Done with her medical internship. And she ends up being exactly like the supervisor she had. So I don't know if this even happens in real life. I would kind of assume it probably does, because nurses, they go through a lot. And you shouldn't do that job without having empathy, if you ask me. That should be your number one criteria to take a job like that. Any doctory thing, really. I don't remember if I said what I rated, but it was a 3.75. And the reason is because it was just a regular fiction book, and I'm more of I want to get out of reality, so that's probably the main reason. The next read I had was Dear Debbie. Dear Debbie is a columnist who writes to people about having like troubles with their husbands and stuff like that. Well, she starts spiraling, really. That's what this book is about. There wasn't really of a suspense, like moment. Like, I kind of expected. I know Debbie was doing everything. I felt like she had a right to spiral, because things were going on with her daughter, things I believe were going on with her husband as well, and things were going on with her. She lost her job. I think this was the book where her husband was having trouble getting a promotion at his job, and then both of her daughters were having troubles with teachers. One of the daughters being fat shamed, and she's like, you're not gonna fat shame my daughter that she can't eat a brownie. She looks perfectly fine. So Debbie was spiraling and did a lot of things, and she got fired because she was tired of being perfect about her answers, and she wanted to say what she really wanted to say. So she did, and then she got fired. And a lot of things were happening. I don't remember there being any unexpected things happening, but I can't remember the very ending. But that was a 4-star, and that one was a really good one. We have The Surrogate Mother. That one was crazy, and I was mad the entire time. The lady that was the surrogate mother was nuts. And on top of that, like I said before, don't trust anybody, even the side characters, okay? I didn't think this little old lady was connected at all. I thought she was just a bystander that got pushed down the stairs. No, it turns out she's the crazy lady's surrogate's mother. And she's just as crazy, if not maybe possibly worse. I don't know. They're both crazy. Just know they're both crazy. Well, she ends up dying. And then the daughter's like, oh God, my mom. This book was nuts. I actually thought the father was going to end up being like a part of it, but he wasn't. He just was an idiot. I don't know. But in the end, it was self-defense, and they got that woman in the hospital and made it to where she couldn't see her kids, or the kid, which she shouldn't have been able to really anyway. They had a contract. She said, oh, I'll pay for your school, but etc., But they were finding ways around that, and I knew it was going to happen. You can't trust people. You should have picked a stranger. I don't know. I mean, I know it costs money, but you had money to adopt. I'm sure you had money to get another surrogate. I don't know. But at the very end, the blanket, right? They had a blanket, and this, I can't remember who the lady was, maybe the stepmom, and she came up and was like, oh, can you give this blanket to your son? It was, the surrogate mom's, and she just really wants him to have it so he can have a part of her with her always. And I was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And she's like, please take it. And she wasn't taking no for an answer, pretty much. So she's like, okay, I'll just take the blanket and you can leave. Well, she was going to get rid of it. But the son ended up really liking it. Her and the husband both did not want anything to do with this blanket, but they gave it to him anyway because the baby was crying every time they took it away. Couldn't be me because I would have got rid of that blanket. I understand that the son would have been upset, but I'd be like, we could get you another blanket, same color, everything. There's no reason you need that exact blanket, okay? That one I rated 4 stars. The next book was The Tenant. I read this one pretty much right after, actually. And it was very strange to me because it seemed like the exact book, this exact same book, it seemed like Frieda Mcfadden was literally writing, word for word, almost the exact same book, but instead of a surrogate, it was a tenant. I'm not even joking. Until the end, everything was exactly the same to me. And I really thought I was going nuts. I was like, am I reading the same book? But she makes you think, well, the difference between the surrogate mother and this one is, in the surrogate mother, you know who the crazy one is. In the tenant, you think you know who the crazy one is until the very end, and you find out it's actually the wife the whole time. So, yeah, that was, I can't remember if that was mind-blowing to me or not. I've learned not to trust everybody, or anybody, so it probably wasn't really that big of a surprise. That one I rated a 4 star. Oh, but the wife was, I just want to say, the wife was really good at making it seem like the tenant was the one causing all that problems. And she actually had the wife's old name because both of them were on the run for some reason. And she took the wife's name, and that's why she was like, oh, I want this lady in this house. I want to know what's going on because she was crazy. Not the tenant, but the wife. Okay, now let's get to the teacher. That one I rated 3.75 stars, okay? This one I'm not going to recommend, especially if you don't like creepy people, because it's all creepy people. I think in the tenant, he was low-key creepy too, the father, or was it the husband, I mean. He was creeping at people too. The teacher had a creepy husband who was a teacher at a high school who creeped on children. And this one was multiple point of views, and I think... yeah, it was the student, the teacher, the woman teacher, and yeah. So the wife finds out, she's like, oh my god, you're literally going after a student who's 16 years old. Like, she's just a child, and she's talking to the student. She's like, you should stop talking to my husband because he's grown, he's a teacher, he knows better, and he's using you. He's literally using you. And the girl's like, no, he's not. We're actually in love, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's actually also doing this to other students as well, okay? They end up thinking they killed her, but she wasn't actually dead. And then, at the end of the story, what took me out, the one I think that actually did surprise me, is, so if you guys were really paying attention, in the beginning of the book, it talks about her going to try on shoes, and her and the shoe person is like flirting and having a good time and low-key liking on each other, right? At the very end of the story, it tells you who that person is. And you want to know who that person was? One of her students. A student that went to that high school. Another 16-year-old student that was the same age as the dude, or the woman that the husband was creeping on. So, I was like, this book is just about a bunch of creepy people. What the heck? Why are y'all, talking to children at 30, 40 years old? So that's why that was 3.75, but, yeah. The next one is The Boyfriend. I rated this one a 4 star. This one was about the perfect guy she was in love with. She's like, he fit descriptions of possibly being a killer to her best friend, but personally I knew it probably wasn't them the whole time. I actually thought it was the I don't remember what you call him, the landlord. And the landlord, I thought it was the landlord and possibly even the friend that was connected, and I was right. But what I didn't expect is that the past, because I wasn't sure how the past was going to be connected, but I was pretty sure, I kind of thought the perfect guy was going to end up either being the main character guy or the other guy, but the other guy ended up dying by Candy, or not Candy, her name was Daisy. Daisy ended up being the crazy person who killed people all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect little innocent looking Daisy to be the killer, but her husband was a cop, and that alone could probably tell you some foreshadowing if you think about it. So yeah, turns out they end up getting being in love forever. They end up running away together, promising, oh, we won't ever kill anybody who deserves it. Well, at the end of the book, they kill this guy that was creeping on the main character, and they said, we did some for you, and sent her a piece of hair from him. Say, we got him. He will no longer bother you. I was like, that's nuts. Lastly, we have the Dead Med. Not gonna lie, I don't remember too much about the Dead Med. I rated this 3.25 stars. It had multiple POVs. It was about somebody was always dying. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I was super interested into this book, and that's why I really can't remember. Like, I remember it, but not enough to like really describe what happened, if that makes sense. And I don't always do well when there's a lot of point of views. Like, I could do 2, 3 is a little pushing it, but I can do it. After that, I would say it grabbed my attention enough to keep reading, but it wasn't enough to like stay in my brain. You know what I mean? Altogether, I was really going through Frieda Mcfadden books like really fast, because this was from January to like last month. I was really reading these. So yeah, I kind of got over thrillers for a little bit. I was like, I need to take a break. I just really need some fantasy, and not even like, well, I that's when I read The Day of Fallen Night, right there. But after that, I was like, I've been reading some really intense books. I just need something to like chill out on. So I've been reading this other book The Adventures of Amina or something like that. It was like a pirate book, and it's okay. I think I'm about halfway through, a little more than halfway. It's good, but it's not like, and you guys are gonna be mad because I know you guys like this one. This one's a popular one. I don't think it was what exactly I was looking for in this moment. Like, I wanted something soft, so I think I might switch over to romance for now, because, you know, romances can be a little soft and not super traumatic-y, if that makes sense. So, let us rate these, my favorite to my least favorite. I want to say, I think my favorites might be a little different than yours, because I kind of, like, when I'm reading a thriller, I want them to be, like, mind-blowing to me. So the mind-blowing ones are going to be the one up here. But that's not always necessarily true, because some of them were not mind-blowing, and I would still put them at the top. So most of them I'm going to have here, going down, because I only have one physical. The rest of them I listen to audibly. I actually do own more Frieda Mcfadden books I haven't read yet, including the second and third of this one, and then one by one or something like that. So I'm going to put number 1, Do Not Disturb, okay? That one blew my mind. I didn't expect the sister to be the one. This one I would rate number 2. And I will also put a picture of that one. The Tenant, The Ward D, The Boyfriend, Dear Debbie, The Teacher, The Devil Wears Scrubs, Dead Med. I would say from The Teacher, The Devil Wears Scrubs, and Dead Med, I kind of don't recommend those. Like, give them a try if you want. I don't know. I don't recommend, though. I think The Teacher, I feel like, is pretty obvious. It's a bunch of creepy people creeping on kids. I don't want to read about that. Not really. I don't even know why. The only reason I rated it 3.75 is because most of the book, I was on the mom's side. And it was like, yeah, get that guy, get him, like, he deserves this. But then when it turns out she was also creeping, I was like, oh no. My husband read this. He said, don't ever recommend a book like this to me again, because we've been reading books together. I just like to talk about them with him, but I haven't found his taste very well yet. So if you guys have some recommendations for him, please let me know down below. I'd also like to know your thoughts, your ratings, and all that down below. I know you guys don't comment, but I'm waiting for your comments, and I like to interact with you guys. So please let me know what you guys think about these books, what you think about my ratings, what you would rate them. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you for following me. I'm almost at 100, kind of. Like, I'm pretty proud of that, because I think that's a pretty proud number, especially because I need to be a little bit more consistent, and I will be. I am working on it. I'm trying to make better content. There's things I obviously still need to work on. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for following. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you next video. Bye.